small thing. Welcome, everybody, to the PHDJ podcast. My name is Mike.
Hello, it's Joe.
How are you there, Joe?
I'm pretty good, man. We've had a couple weeks off, right?
You know what? Well, not off, but we've pre-recorded so many shows. Right. It's been a while since it was just you, and we've had a lot of guests on, so it's been a while since it was just you and I.
It's you and I
chatting. And you know what today is? You know what this episode is?
You told me already. You spoiled it. 250?
250, dude. Can you believe it? Can you believe when we started this in January of 2017? If you told me we'd close to 5 years later we'd be going strong on this weekly, I would have said you're crazy. So I don't know how much longer we're gonna last. I always feel like we're 1 week away from going. We got nothing. So who knows? But until that day, I'm just gonna say kudos to us. And I know that sounds vain and self. What's the word? Self-aggrandizing. But I don't care. I think we've earned it. Yeah.
I do too, man.
Kudos.
We just shout out, ironically, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I just saw the episode I did with her. It was out today. Our friend Kristen Wilson down in Orlando launched her. So this is episode 5 for her.
Great.
So it's called Love, Lead, Excel. Go find it. If you're a podcast listener, obviously, if you're listening to this, you are. So go give her some love and check that episode out with me in it and any other she does. So
I will do that. I like Kristen a lot.
I do too. She's on the... the beginning of the spectrum, and we wish her
the beginning of the journey.
Right. Yes. We wish her 250 plus episodes.
Yeah. So I really brought a potpourri of ideas. We do this from time to time instead of just having one main topic. So we'll breeze through these. I want to start with a post from a DJ here in New Jersey, Mike Bacon. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've ever met Mike, but we're connected on social. Okay. And he wrote a post that really spoke to me recently. He said his last 3 weddings featured a last dance with just a couple in the room, meaning everyone at the wedding clears out, blah, 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 and before he hits play. Have you started to see this in your market?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
So
really this year, Mike, I had done it before this year, but this year it's been kind of more upfront.
I had never done it before a month ago. I had my first request to do it a month ago. Yeah. And I misjudged how long it was about, how soon in advance you should start it and what kinds of things you should say. But before I get to that, what have you done? So let's say you have an 11 o'clock end. Yep. And the bride wants to do, and let's say it's a 4-minute dance. So, I mean, if you want to end at 11, then you have to start that dance at 10:56. At what point do you play your last song, and what are the things you say to try to get everybody out? Because let's face it, that's the big X factor.
Yeah, I'll say this first and foremost. I don't think the venues here are like the places you guys play. There is nobody's going to shit a brick over 11:05.
Well, it's hit and miss here, Joe. I mean, some of our venues are like, whatever. It's the same thing. Like I've talked about on this air about playing the one more song. I do it all the time. But there are some places, there are some places where I can't do it because they will literally pull my plug, literally. So, and this is, I think, one of the tips we should give our listeners. If you have this type of thing, it should be part of your discussion with the banquet people early in the night. You should let them know about it, and you should let them know, and you should find out how they feel about, do I have to start this song at 10:56 so I'm done at 11? Or if people are still lingering, is it okay to go 5 minutes over? Yeah. I think it's important to have that upfront agreement so you don't have a maitre d' in your face if you haven't started the song early enough to end right on the dot. So you're saying your banquets, your people aren't that strict?
A little more lax, at least I've been fortunate enough to have those kind of relationships, or either they just are like, man, screw it, what's 5 or 10 more minutes? But I will say, to Mike's point, I would agree with that, which I haven't been doing. I should be touching base with them so that they know. We don't know that they have the same schedule that we have. I definitely think you should tell the venue operator or the manager or the maitre d' or whatever you call it in your market, banquet captain, like that this is going to happen. But to your point, Mike, I probably would start that run towards the last song a little earlier than normal. And then, so let's just say it was a 11 o'clock end time, if you will, playing that last song, let's say at 10:50 10:52. That takes it to 10:55, 10:56. And then starting that, everybody, we need you outside for the sparkler departure, almost like every 90 seconds. You know what I mean? You really don't want to miss this. We want to send them off the right way. And then I think maybe even the third or fourth time, like, hey guys, really need you out of here. They Chris and Kelly want to have a private dance, a private moment. So got to get you guys out front, grab the sparklers. We'll be out in just a few minutes or whatever.
I don't think there's any reason to hide that fact.
No, I don't either.
The one time I did it, and then I have another wedding coming up in a few weeks. I basically, and this was Mike's advice in his Mike Bacon in his post. He said, before you play the last song for the guests, let them know, folks, we have one more song for you, and then as soon as this is over, we need you to make your way out of the room because Scott and Margaret they want to do a very special last dance, but they want to be alone in the room, so we're going to need everybody out as quickly as possible. And that's something I hadn't done the first time. I didn't say it before I started that last dance. I only started saying it after that last dance was over. I had given myself 10 minutes, and it took closer to 20 to get everybody out of the room.
How many people were there, Mike? You remember?
Maybe 140, 150. So it wasn't an outrageously big crowd. Right. Yeah. And one of the things, my wedding coming up where I have to do this, they have a shuttle. And so they have timed the shuttle to get there at like 10:45. So my announcement will be, and it's so funny because I usually don't like doing this announcement before the end of the night, but that will help me. Folks, please clear the room. The shuttle is here if you're heading back to the hotel. They also have an after party right on the location. So if you're not taking the shuttle, if you stick around for an after party, you can go start that now, but please leave the room as quickly as possible. So it's going to be interesting to see how well I can pull this off in 2 weeks based on my experience.
Let's definitely follow up on that. I will say this, Mike, it's so common for me to be like, when the majority of the people are out of the room to start striking gear, that I was like half broken down last week, and the planner comes in and goes, don't forget about their private dance. And I was like, I literally played their private dance through one speaker and a wired microphone because I had started unhooking. The lights are down. Like, I was like, oh shit, yeah, they're doing that. Like, it's just uncommon. You know what I mean? But I believe. So I guess going back to the origin, like, what do you think who started it, or why is this a thing?
Somebody on this post, on Mike Bacon's post, somebody wrote TikTok trends, ... So I don't know. Again, I don't spend nearly enough time on TikTok to have my finger on the pulse of that. But maybe that's where it came from.
It could have. Yeah, there's a lot of wedding planners, DJs, etc., posting stuff on there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to me, it's the exact opposite of how I want to end my parties. I like to end my parties with a packed dance floor, high energy song. 11 o'clock rolls around, thank you, good night, and I actually get disappointed if it's a great party when I don't get a one more song chant. So I would much rather that. But I mean, listen, give the people what they want. If this is becoming a trend, and it's funny because Mike Bacon's post was basically saying like, hey, this is something we should all be aware of, and that's why I grabbed it to talk about it. That if you are a listener of this podcast and you haven't seen this yet, you might, and so just be prepared for it. You may get asked for it in the preparation. Don't sound like you've never heard of it before, and if you have to execute it, start thinking about how you're going to do it.
But before we move on, I will say this: one, I think it is very sweet. Two, I think it's almost a gift to be in the room with them. You know what I mean? Like, you're seeing something that's like really rare for a reception. Like for them too, to have a cleared room, and I almost like hit the song and just kind of move. Like, I don't really even want to be behind the booth at that point. Like, I just almost want to be out of sight. But you're really privileged, I think, Mike, to see something cool like that. Yeah,
and I felt that the one time I've done it, I did kind of feel that.
Me too.
I'm like, oh, this is a really quiet, intimate moment that I'm here for, and it was
fly
nice,
on the wall. Fly on the wall.
Yeah. Okay. So topic number 2, and this is a question that you put up on Facebook. You put it in the Dapper DJ post, and my apology to our female listeners because this is a men's fashion question. But you wrote, when can we ditch the tie for a nice dress shirt, open collar, light starch, blah, blah. So first of all, have you decided to go that route?
This is a great topic. You're good at this.
I think
Mike.
it is.
Yeah. You know why we're still doing 250 episodes? Two people, Mike Walter and Richie Stedman, and I'll say it in three. And the listeners.
I will throw it back to you, Joe. You were a lot more involved in this before the DJ's Vault. Your energy is taken up with a lot more things.
I'm sorry,
but that's cool. I just troll you on Facebook and save posts and go, we can talk about this.
Okay.
So what have you decided?
Here's what happened last Saturday. Okay, a double wedding last weekend. Friday night, I'm at Landfall, arguably the nicest country club in North Carolina in Wilmington, the beach. So I had to drive to the beach. And now I'm all ready. I had bought 2 new pairs of Air Jordan 1 low sneakers, pristine condition, never worn. I had 2 kind of, not like the shirt you have on now, the stars, but a patterned shirt. I even had the collar shades with
short sleeve, by the way. So
this
would never be an event shirt.
Never good. But it was a long sleeve, cool patterned. I even had replaced the collar stays with the magnetic kind that hook to themselves so the collar stays out of the jacket. New Lululemon pants, because I also, in that same secondary post on that Dapper DJs thread, I had listed, is there such thing as comfortable dress pants? People, overwhelmingly, the ABC pant from Lululemon. Went to the store, ordered 2 pairs. Absolutely fantastic. A1 would recommend.
This is the post where you were asking about the slim, it's a slim look. Okay,
slim look pant that you can actually load in and wear all day and not feel like that you're.
Say it again. Lululemon. What?
Lululemon, the ABC pant.
ABC pant.
ABC pant or the Commission. They are both pretty much the same. One is more like
both Lululemon products.
Yep, both Lululemon.
Is it Lululemon a yoga thing?
No, it's athletic wear. Like all my workout gear is Lululemon.
Oh, okay. I thought it was specifically yoga, but
no. I mean, originally probably started in Vancouver as a yoga company, but like all of my shirts.
But this is not a sweat pant. This is a dress pant.
Nope. Okay. Got belt loops on it. Yes, belt loops on it. The ABC is more like a 5-pocket jean, so that has those kind of rivets, like if you feel like down on your jeans. The Commission is more like a dress pant. Pockets are different, everything.
Okay.
I bought a pair of each. Super happy with both. Great. Anyway, I get to the moment of truth. I'm packing to go to the beach, and I couldn't freaking do it. I grabbed the tie. I grabbed a different shirt. I grabbed a sport jacket. I did grab the Lulu pants, and I swapped out the Jordans for the Cole Haan Lunar Grands, the ones that kind of have like that wingtip top and more of a sneaker type bottom. I just couldn't do it. Same thing with the next night. The largest, most popular venue here, the Angus Barn Pavilion, the owner's son. This is one of the largest grossing independent restaurants in the entire United States. The owner's son is getting married. Same thing. All right, I'm gonna go ultra trendy tonight. I just couldn't do it. I'm walking out the door, and I had the blazer, and I had the shirt, tie. No sneakers. I could not change it.
Well, you know my opinion about the sneakers. I think I don't think. I think it's too casual.
Right.
And I'm trying to dance around here because I know we have plenty of our listeners who wear sneakers to events, and so I'm not insulting you. To me, it's clownish. I can't do. The only time I've ever worn a pair of sneakers with a suit, I was in Dominic Sestito's wedding party, and that's what he wanted us to wear. We had these very nice tan suits because it was a beach wedding, and I had Pro Keds on.
Wow.
And I just felt like a stand-up comic from the 1980s. That's the only time I felt like David Letterman in his, when Letterman was on at 12.
Seinfeld did that shit too.
Yeah, and I just couldn't. I thought to myself, and I remember going into that wedding going, "Oh, this is a different look. I've never done this before." And as soon as I put it on, I was like, "I can't wait to get out of this and into dress shoes."
Wow.
So I will never, listen. I do loafers. I do a slip-on. It doesn't have to be a tied shoe.
Sure.
But to me, a dress shoe goes with formal wear. But so let me ask you this: do you keep your jacket on all night?
Mike, it would have to be a very rare circumstance that I take it off. Now, company policy since 20 years ago was groom takes his jacket off. You can take your jacket off. I don't want to see. Let's not get into rolling up your sleeves. Don't lose. You're not on the campaign trail in like Iowa in summer. Like it's not that kind of look.
Right.
But you can lose a jacket if the groom and the groomsmen are doing so. You know what I mean? Hot room, summer, whatever. Right. But No, for the most part, I do leave the jacket in.
I thought so because I've seen a lot of photos of you in mid-performance with still with your jacket, and you don't have a problem mixing with the big collar of a jacket on. That's always been my problem.
Normally, my jacket is, my arms are like kind of short as is, and normally the jacket is probably one size smaller than I should be wearing if I button the jacket. So the only real uncomfortable is the reach to the laptop because I have short arms.
Right.
But
so I've always had the it's kind of as soon as the formalities are over, I lose the jacket. Meaning, we do a lot of stuff up front here, introductions, first hands, parents hands, toast, blah blah blah. Usually after I grab the microphone from whoever did the last toast and introduce myself and my assistant and let people know we're taking requests, I usually then make my way back and I lose the jacket at that point. Mm-hmm. I might put it back on for the cake cutting later because, again, to me, that's a formality. But other than that, I'm jacketless the rest of the night. And that's why I've always stuck with the tie, because without the jacket or the tie, now, to me, that's really casual. Just an open collared shirt, no jacket. So if I kept my jacket on, I think the open collared look with a cool jacket, I think that's an acceptable look.
I'm fine with it. I am fine with it. Jacket on, open collar, but you're also a three-piece guy sometimes, right?
Sometimes, not as much usually. I was for a long time, and that certainly helped with taking the jacket off because at least I still had the vest. But I find that shirt with the tie and no jacket acceptable. Now, maybe that's just me telling myself that, but I see plenty of pictures of me behind the board during the night, and I feel like I don't think anyone is saying, "Oh, that guy's dressed down."
What a slob. Right. What a slob. Yeah. No, I've never, ever seen a picture, whether it's you singing, hands up, mic, in your other hand, party mode or pregame. I saw you had a new jacket on the other night. Like, I've never seen you where I'm like, damn, he's slumming it tonight or whatever. Like, ever, even from a corporate show, like same. I got to play a corporate show tonight. I'm still, I don't know. I may go tieless tonight. I may go tieless. I'll keep. And then,
so this goes back to: do you ever ask the couple, or in this case, your corporate client? Do you ever ask them what the attire is?
Oh yeah, always. Okay. Tonight
that's part of your planning form, or that's definitely part of your. Okay.
No, I'll take that back. The only time I ask that question is non-wedding. In other words, if I was doing a 50th birthday party tonight, what are the men wearing if I'm doing this corporate thing tonight? And she said most of the guys are going to just have on a dress shirt, slacks or jeans, and some guys will wear blazer, probably no ties. So, yes, non-weddings, I usually always try to ask, what are the men wearing tonight?
Right. Okay. I think it's a good question to ask because we don't do a lot of black tie optional weddings or black tie weddings, but every once in a while they exist, in which case I know you have made the point about, you feel like you let it in your market as far as getting rid of your tuxedo, but you may need it someday. And I know you talk about burning it, which I think is very violent. You should probably seek help about that. But I just think, every once in a while, and I see pictures of Jim Cerrone all the time, and I go, God, that guy still rocks the tuxedo and looks sharp. And so I don't know. I think it's good. It's definitely a good question to ask.
Yeah, I do too. I still think on a black tie wedding, I'm still just going to wear a black suit, white shirt, skinny black tie.
Right.
Like I'm not. I don't.
You're never.
I do not have an actual tuxedo, and I don't know that I would commit to $800 to $1,000, which is what I would want to spend to get a good-looking.
Well, if you hadn't burned the old one, you'd still have it.
No, it was definitely burnable. It was not the lapels were. It was not it.
So let's finish up with. I recently had a streak of 15 events where I got tipped.
Oh, here we go.
And it became very interesting as I was posting about that. There were two topics that came up. First and foremost, a number of people said you're not charging enough. Do you think that there is any correlation or connection between the amount of money you charge? Like, I don't think a gratuity is a client saying, wow, you should have been $2,000. You were only $1,750. So here's $250. I don't think that that's the case, but I thought I think what people are getting that from is there is a sales philosophy where, if you brag, hey, I closed 99% of my leads, you're probably too cheap. You should probably bump your price up.
I do agree with that.
And I agree with that, but I don't see the correlation. So do you see the connection there?
No. I don't at all. I'm sorry. I just don't buy that. And I can't ever, Mike, pinpoint when or if a tip is coming. I can't. Sometimes it's $20.
Oh God, me either.
The other night, the guy goes, hand me your phone, open your Venmo, let me scan your thing. And then I didn't even really, I was like kind of doing something else. I can't remember. They weren't really participating in the Last Dance. They were like so hell-bent on this tip. And I just was like, okay. And I'm kind of fumbling around. And then I look later and I'm like, Jesus Christ. And it was the record. $700 was my tip.
Wow.
It was the previous record. And I told Randy it was either $400 or $450 for anybody in the company, $400 or $450. And I go,
$7 bills.
$700.
That's pretty nice. So you don't charge enough, apparently.
Apparently not. Right. It was a very expensive wedding. My bill was plenty expensive. I don't know. I guess maybe it was probably $3,500 or $4,000. So maybe that was 20% to them. They just and they were super casual about it. And I was like, oh, that was really generous.
And then the other thing that came out of my tip streak was one of the nights where I got a tip. I took a photo. They had given me an envelope that said DJ Balance, and then another envelope that said DJ Tip. And so I took a picture of both. And again, I'm on cloud nine. I'm doing great gigs and I'm getting tips. And it became this Mike Walter's an idiot because he collects the balance at the party.
Show. I know. Now, I saw it.
Keeping in mind, it has been over 20 years since I got burned on a balance. And when I say burned, I took them to small claims court and still got it. So I still got the money, but obviously there was a
waste
painful.
Of time,
and I considered it at the time. I'm like, oh, maybe I should change this policy.
Sure.
Didn't. And 20 years later, which means over 20,000 clients later,
That's true.
we have yet to be burned. Now, that doesn't mean every once in a while a client forgets their check.
Yeah.
I had a DJ recently. He takes the envelope from the client, looks in it really quick, sees a piece of paper, and goes, okay. He gives it to me on Monday. It's not the money order, but you know how the money order, you get a money order and then you get the copy of the money order, the carbon. That's what the client had put in. So now it's Monday morning, wedding Saturday night, and I emailed the client and I say, look, do you have this money order? Because all I got and she goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's here with my paperwork. She goes, we're leaving for the airport at 4:00. I'll drive it by your office. I said, you don't have to do that. Put it in the mail. I said, I trust you. Put it in the and sure enough, we got it Wednesday or Thursday. So I'm not saying those situations haven't happened over the 20-year period, but I have not had to take somebody to small claims court in over 20 years because they didn't bring the balance in and refused the balance. So
I'll say this. I didn't read all the comments, and I'm sure you didn't either. I'll only speak on this. I looked at it from more of a standpoint was, I'm surprised. I didn't know. I even didn't know that you had that policy of collect at the event. So I didn't look at it like Mike's an idiot. I looked at it as, I'm surprised that they don't get it, whatever, like 2 weeks in advance like we do.
So first of all, our clients are welcome to pay in advance. So the people who say, well, it's a hassle to the bride and groom to make them pay. No, we don't you can pay us in advance. You're more than welcome to. Matter of fact, when we meet with our clients a month in advance, we mention the balance. And we say, look, it's not due until the day of, but if you want to take care of it tonight or in advance, you're more than welcome to. So we invite our clients, but we also let them know if you want to wait till the night of, if you want to wait till services have been rendered, you're welcome to do that. And as I said to somebody on the post, I think it was Mary who was on because she was one of the first ones. She's like, boo, and I'm sure she wasn't calling me an idiot, but it felt that way. It felt like I'm a horrible salesperson or a business person. But I said, maybe you should just start trusting your clients a little bit more. Because I think the only reason to enforce 2 weeks in advance is that you think a client is going to burn you. Well, if clients, if it's been over 20 years since I've gotten burned, I don't think our clients are looking to screw us over.
No. Not once you're that committed to the wedding. You're 30K in at that point.
Right. So anyway, I thought it was an interesting wrinkle on what I was very happy about, and I thought it was a topic worth bringing up.
I'm just gonna say this though, and I think if Randy was on here, who does way more weddings than I do, more along the lines of what Mike does, when he'll hit those grinds 3, 4, 5 days in a row type thing. I think he would agree with this as well. There is no doubt that getting tipped is correlated with that final payment. I've never in my career ever hit 10, 12, 15 tips in a row. There's no way. I don't care how far back I want to go. There's no way I did a run of 10 or 15 shows and got a tip every night. Not possible. So I'll say this, and Mike, I don't know, do y'all do this just before we wrap this up? So at the end of the night, is there some sort of an invoice or a bill, and then is there like a line for gratuity, or do y'all do that whole thing? Because we've talked about that before. Yeah. Okay.
No, I've thought about implementing a frequently asked questions email like 2 weeks before the wedding and making one of them. Do I have to give a gratuity? I haven't done it. I think I might implement that going into 2021. But if you're saying you think you get tipped more often when the client is handing you the balance, I totally agree with that. My DJs totally agree with that. When the payment has already been taken care of, there's no money exchange, and often it's just thank you, good night, you were awesome. But if here's an envelope, and here's a little extra.
Yes,
I find that to be a definite correlation, and that's why 20 years ago when I thought about making the change, and we talked about one of our staff meetings, our DJs were like, "Can we please still collect the balance?" Because they feel strongly about it too.
Wow. That's interesting. So that gives you guys something to think about.
There you go.
It gives me something to think about. Yeah.
This has been
awesome,
fun,
man.
And we can tease next week.
Oh, we can. Go ahead, Mike.
Because we're literally
booked this. We're about to record it in 4 minutes.
We have our very good friend Randy Bartlett is coming up next week.
Ta-da!
And stupidly, we are. Randy is probably one of the great MC trainers in all of the country. We're not going to talk to him about emceeing, which is stupid. It's kind of like having Mick Jagger on and not talking about songwriting or the Rolling Stones. We are going to talk to Randy Bartlett about retiring from the DJ industry. It's a topic that I am giving more and more thought about. When am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? What's it going to look like? And Randy is somebody who has done that. He stepped away from the industry, and I think it's an important and I think an interesting topic. So hopefully you'll enjoy
great topic
next week's show.
All right. Thanks again for listening, everybody. We will see you back next week.
Ciao.